Welcome to IPL 5 Daybreak.
Okay, here we are, back on Daybreak, venue for great encounters across the board. And this guy just took a big gamble. He bet it all on black, and unfortunately it came up red. Let's see how he manages now in the southwest position of playing Zerg in the red trunks. It is
Azubu Violet.
target acquired. However, he's looking okay, considering the position he's in, but that's a stern look in his face because this guy right here just got a very early lead in this best of three to the northeast position, playing Zerg in the blue trunks. His name is
Leenock.
Well, Mad Catz got the money's worth out of this event, didn't they?
Hatchery first by both players, Extractor at the same time, Spawn and Pool at the same time, identical openings by both. Violet changed it up for the first time, really, aside from that previous early pool. It's the first time he's gone hatch first. Kind of saying to himself, wait a minute, I just played a best of 5 and started this best of 3. Leenock's gone hatch first every single game. I guess I can do the same.
Yeah, why not? And I wouldn't have expected anything crazy from Violet at this point because that would just be a colossal burnout, really, from the tournament, having won a best of 5 in commanding fashion without really using anything silly, no shenanigans, no cheese, and then suddenly opening up and absolutely failing with the all-in. So, yeah, no big surprises from Violet, and good, actually. That's what I want to see from him. He is a really solid defensive reactionary Zerg player. He's a very smart player with great control and good decision-making. Why throw it away in the first 7 minutes?
And if you remember, this is the map where we saw Leenock's +1 carapace very early on to target down the third of Violet's, and then following it up with his second second carapace, +2, which we saw go very well for him. We'll see if he's going to repeat the same strategy.
Yeah, nicely pointed out there, of course, by Heaven Numb. I don't want to call him the best observer in the world because I think Legend will get very upset. Let's just say, you know, they're both part of the same whole. They're absolutely wonderful. And pointing out that there are only 2 drones in the Extractor. Compared
to 3 up there, which is going to, of course, mean more gas income.
Now, it's hard to say whether or not that's a mistake, but I mean, it seems like it could very well be from Violet, considering how shaken he is.
I think it's intended.
Do you think?
Yeah, because at this stage of the game, you don't necessarily need to have all 3 in.
Okay.
You focus a little bit. It depends on what he's going to do, right? So if he goes straight up to layer now, then it is a mistake, because obviously, why would you not want to go layer a little bit faster?
Yeah.
He's not going to benefit from having a little bit extra minerals, and we'll see.
Well, he still hasn't put anyone else in the gas, so I mean, it very well could be intentional, but apparently it still could be intentional, but no, probably not. Second Extractor coming up right here for Leenock.
Second Extractor, and the layer started at a pretty decent time.
Yeah,
around about 6 minutes is like the standard layer time in this matchup. You can go a little bit before, you can go a little bit after, but one thing we see here from Violet is he isn't actually going layer. He's just thrown 2 evolution chambers down. Yeah. So he's going to attempt the same style that we saw him use originally on Entomb Valley.
I like that style, honestly, especially on a map the size of Daybreak.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of possibilities. We were seeing mostly in ZVZ, the 4th base will be taken at the front, and then you get the 3rd base, of course, at the back in its normal position, and that leaves all sorts of great run-by possibilities.
The butted up Lings make their way past those 4 and actually scout the layer and the gas on the natural. So Violet knows what he's playing against now. He knows that he's most likely going up against just a super standard layer. Just before 6 minutes, and he doesn't know which it's going to be in terms of Spire or Infestor. You actually don't know at all here.
No.
He could guess towards Spire, though, because he didn't see Evolution Chambers down yet, which is, of course, me just saving gas. And the scouting does not get denied here, so Leenock gets in as well, sees no layer, sees only just getting morphed.
Yep. All right, so, he's going to get the Eva gems as well. That's wonderful stuff right there from Leenock. Good information that he's being given at this point. So Spire play from Leenock. Second time we've seen it in this series. Absolutely, completely useless in the first game on Ahana. And then Violet actually came back with it on Metropolis to great effect. Leenock's going to take the second roll of the dice here. What do you reckon to this?
With the Spire play?
Yeah, from this position.
From this position, Spire play is okay to do so, especially if you're going to deny a third base like that. I'm a little bit worried for Violet, though. I'm not sure if he's going to get up all the necessary defense. He doesn't necessarily know that he's playing against Spire play. And if that's the case, then these initial Mutalisks, which are going to come into the game very shortly, could do a lot of damage. Because of the later lair, later Infestation Pit, we've seen no additional Queens. He's only at 2 right now, building a third. Will he even have enough anti-air?
Well, he's going really Ling heavy here. Like, it's almost like he's going to start to gear up to try and do run by and try and deny the third. In fact, that's exactly what he's doing.
Yeah.
And
that will buy him time.
Yeah, because we would end up having the same position that we had in Ahana, whereby it's like, oh, he's trying to kill my third. Right, better bring the Mutalisks in for defense. And then that actually gives time in order to make that happen. But so far, the aggression on the third hasn't really done anything, so it's done nothing to hold back the Mutalisks that are on their way. But he is going for the natural here.
And with a lot of Lings, you don't have to attack in one direction. You can send them in different directions and say, well, the Mutalisks, if that's your defense, they come in different locations.
Well, the Mutalisks are now out and they're going to be able to pick off some Banelings here. That's now been spotted, so now Violet's got a certain amount of time in which he's got to start building defense. I'm still no Spore Crawler. There we go, Spore Crawler's coming up. Another 20 Lings coming in.
Overlord does go down.
God damn, that's a really exciting Overlord. Wow, I found someone that likes the killing of Overlords more than me. That's amazing.
Well, we may see a couple more go down in this game with the Mutalisks looking actively for them. But there's quite a few Lings out here, and it's been spotted. Great target fire onto the Banelings.
Yep, certainly.
It's the biggest threat, but these Lings are at 1-1 now. They got very good upgrades. We can see in the production tab there's the switch over of upgrades for Violet, going over to the +2 carapace and the +1 missiles.
Yep, and I mean, this build worked extremely well from last time. I wouldn't say it's worked as well this time around, but there's only 4 Mutalisks on the map, and interestingly enough, they're doing not an awful lot other than sort of holding these back and picking off a couple of Overlords in there. But the difference being that it seems like Leenock has switched away from Mutalisks a lot quicker, but here we go. Action coming in on the third base, and plenty of Lings making their way into that middle line. The Mutalisks completely out of position here, forced to stop mining here, and we're looking at 9 workers killed. On this could potentially be the third. I mean, with 1-1 upgrade, these Lings aren't going to die very fast. The Mutalisks, Banelings come in and try and save the day. One connects, second one connects, it's not enough. Violet takes that base down.
Well, at least he has a macro hatch there to kind of help, but it still hurts a lot. Leenock didn't dedicate too heavy to the Mutalisks. He only went for 4 upon realizing what he's actually playing against. He only used them to kill off Overlords in this game, so he didn't dedicate a lot of resources.
No, not too much.
Has the Infestors down at a decent time. Actually has more out than Violet at the moment, and more on the way.
All right, well, these Mutalisks have remained alive, and as you said before, they're just going to be able to pick up Overlords all over the map, which is incredibly annoying, and it's nothing that could really be dealt with effectively up to this point by Violet. He doesn't want to wander out there with Infestors. That's a silly thing to do.
Oh, that's getting excited.
Overlord is dead! Yes! Is this really the state of ZVZ? We've gotten to this point.
Overlord killing is a sport.
It's next esport. Ironically, then becomes more popular than StarCraft 2.
All right, so only 4 mutas with the Overseer as well. Can get rid of the Creep Tumors. That third taking a long time to recover. Quite annoying as Leenock does take a 4th base in response to having a very late third. But I do like Violet's position in this game. He's got a good amount of Infestors equal to Leenock. He's got pretty good upgrades.
Yep.
He should actually be wanting to take a 4th base of his own very shortly.
Still hunting Overlords right now. Hydra Den is on its way, and there's Grooved Spines for the range upgrade. Leenock just playing as defensively as he can, needless to say, just wanting to sit back, not wanting to be the aggressor at this point. And you'd never really want to be the aggressor if you're going to run right into a bunch of Infestors. That's why this kind of becomes a little bit of a stalemate until you're absolutely sure that things are good. Now, Roach upgrades with +1 there, and if I recall correctly, yeah, +2 upgrade coming in for Leenock as well.
Violet a little bit supply blocked, unfortunately, 150. This obviously would make it a lot stronger if he could reinforce.
Well, Mutalisks doing their job then, really.
Yeah, it's great. The Muse have done a really good job, even into the main base.
Yeah, he could get a drone here or there. I mean, at this point, he doesn't really care all that much about the Mutalisks. They're not going to contribute too much to this fight, and so he's just going to cause a few headaches here for Violet that will eventually die. But here comes the push. Violet's going to be the aggressor here onto the third base, perhaps, or he could slide into the fourth. Looks like the fourth is a better option here for him.
Upgrades are +2 carapace, +1 attack for Violet, compared to Leenock, who's only at 1-0. 2-0 is about to start. Great fungals from Violet.
Really nice buddies. Infesta's got chain fungled as well, which could be even worse. A third one comes in. So much energy wasted right there. But there are a lot of Hydralisks and Roaches still making their way in, and another defensive fungal put down to try and save the Infestors. Tons of energy available here for Leenock's Infestors. Tons of Infested Terrans going down. The macro hatch taking the fire rather than the main hatchery, and Leenock brings a ton of firepower to the fray, and suddenly we see Violet's forces taking great damage, but the reinforcements are coming in, and we're going to need to see a little bit more here from Leenock to push this back.
Yeah, Violet's upgrades are very, very good. He's got a lot of units on the way as well. The economy hasn't really been touched for Leenock. She's able to continue to make units, but the position that they're coming out, they keep getting shot over and over, and the Hydras remain.
Yeah, certainly. There's only 3 Hydralisks in the back, but +2, that's still pretty dangerous. Managed to break through the right flank and target down one of the Hydras, and now Leenock is on full offensive. One Infestor goes down, second one Bowen out of the way. Huge ball of Roaches here. No fungals to be contributed here. Leenock has superior numbers.
And he survived with 5 Infestors out of 7 compared to Violet, who lost them all there. And we've seen that throughout the series, how important it is to keep them alive.
Leenock's just better at it. It's as simple as that. And now we've got Violet moving into the natural. A nice little Roach run by, so they're going to be slowly picking off a few drones here and there. Bowen Infestor now moving on its way. And Leenock is actually going to pull back here, because this is actually a little bit of a nasty bit of aggression coming on. A couple of mana changelings jumped down there by the looks of it. And right now, things are stabilizing quite nicely here for Leenock. He has thrown back that offense really well, and he's now got a supply lead. And as you pointed out, perhaps the most important thing, that ridiculous Infestor count.
Yeah, 11 versus 6, and they all have a lot more energy too, because they're fresh, the ones that Violet just made. A couple of Roaches still remaining in that mineral line, which could be a little bit frustrating, a little bit annoying. Fourth is going to be attempted to be taken here, which should be able to go down.
Well, Leenock doesn't want him to take it, that's for sure. He's already rolling out with a large force over to the north of the map. So the Infestor count, the energy count, superior for Leenock here. But that doesn't necessarily matter if Violet catches him on a ramp with a really good fungal anyway. We've seen players in this tournament do really well with even just 1 or 2 Infestors. Those fungals can be absolutely key. Like that, for instance. That's a good start. And for the north as well here. Ton of Infested Terrans now being lobbed over, but the concave is far better here for Violet. But there may just be too many Infested Terrans. That's a ridiculous number of Infested Terrans coming down right now. Can Violet actually make this work?
I don't think so. I think Violet's starting to crumble on the left flank there, which allows the units to come in. And now I think Violet's going to be in trouble. He needs more units there.
Well, he's got a few Hydralisks there, but they don't actually have any way to defend themselves. And Leenock actually miscontrolling those Infestors and now just trying to escape at this point. Violet holds on pretty well there. And at least he's able to try and secure that 4th base, but what lurks beneath? Plenty more Infestors. Leenock's on 14, and once again, saves the Infestors, always gets out of there with those. It's absolutely ridiculous. Is he killing his own Hydralisks?
I don't know, I wasn't looking, sorry.
I mean, I don't like Hydra as much either, but that's a little bit harsh, don't you think?
Yeah, a bit of a mistake then if that did happen. What we're going to see, though, with Leenock not taking the 4th base, is another big attack. And if this attack doesn't work, aligned with that +1 carapace, then we're going to game number 3.
Yeah, we very well might, actually. So Leenock's taking that 4th base, and small group of units out of the map. Roach Ball, and that will be followed by a lot of Infestors. They're going to actually be spotted there by that over there. 16 Infestors. Ooh.
That's a lot,
yeah,
and we'll see them. It really will change the fight here. He doesn't have the same amount of Roaches, but it doesn't matter. The Infested Terrans are so good. But he's on the ramp. He's coming down. The Infested Terrans are launched.
And he gets fungled on the ramp as well. So once again, a great concave.
Oh, wow, look at the position. That's just a one-sided fight from Violet.
It really, really is. I mean, that's actually wonderful. And Violet was completely prepared for that. Leenock stumbles right into a fight that he can't assuredly win. A few Roaches start to make their way in with some harassment, but that was ugly for Leenock.
15 Roaches coming from both players, actually, as we can see, but Queens have been cut off, which is going to slow down the production capability of Violet for the next couple of rounds compared to Leenock.
Yep.
Another one goes down in the main. Hydra focused as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's really nice harassment here by Leenock, but as I said, he did run into that fight and essentially bungled it, but I have to wonder if that really matters at this stage. It's still 18-9 Infestors, but Violet does have 52 Roaches.
That's right, but we'll see if they're gonna... They should, you know, help out a lot. 9 Infestors is not bad. 18 is better.
Well, I think what we need to see is the energy, actually. That's the most important thing. 18 Infestors is useless if they've got no energy. Those guys are fresh. Those guys are looking pretty good as well. What about Violet's? Violet's not too shabby either, so fairly equal on energy counts, but of course double the numbers here for Leenock.
It's just very difficult for Leenock to break down the ramp. He had a difficult time previously.
Yeah.
He's going to try and send Roaches south, I think, to maybe get Violet out of position to allow him to come down.
Loving quite a lot of infested Terrans initially here. Okay, that's an interesting way to start this fight off. The Roaches now making the way. All the Infestors getting bungled here, and Leenock actually finally losing some stuff.
Whoa.
This is a terrible fight for Leenock, actually. It really is, and Violet defends that once again very, very well, but his natural is getting gutted at the time, so it's almost like Leenock is posturing for these fights and then sending run-bys, but the unit count just started to get really ugly. I mean, Leenock just lost a ton of Roaches. He's
ton
also
of energy as well.
Yeah, and the Infestors just ran into Roaches as well, and Leenock's actually crumbling here. Violet with an exceptional set of defensive maneuvers.
Yeah, and Violet's pushing forward now. He knows that Leenock just expends all his energy. He has hardly anything to defend. The fourth is going to go down. Leenock has to come defend this, because if he doesn't defend this fourth, he will not be able to sustain the amount of income which Violet has.
I mean, he's got no energy on those Infestors. They're little more than useless fat slugs, and that was a nice little fungal growth right there, but he can't chain it, and another borrowed Infestor goes underneath it. I imagine you just want to pop over the side and try and get another really good fungal growth and try and make that work, and he gets it on the back Infestors. They don't die, though, and they're able to throw out a ton of Infested Terrans here on the third base. The Roaches in a horrible position. They're completely surrounded by Infested Terrans. Fungaled right here. Violet with an excellent push. Leenock's down 120 supply. Violet looking to take this to game 3.
He is about to do it. There's more and more units streaming in for Violet, and we're going to go to game 3 by the looks of it in this final deciding best of 3.
Choo-choo, here comes the Violet Express. He's looking to take you straight to game 3 station. Will he be able to do it? It's looking very likely right now. The third base is getting hammered. Great fungal growth by Leenock, but there's no more energy available for those Infestors. 19 Infestors with no energy. Only 3 Roaches on the field.
And for the first time in the entire of the series, including the previous set, Violet has got a better units lost compared to Leenock here, who's thrown away so many units in those attacks that didn't work, and now Violet actually lost a lot of units there, but at the same time, still at 186 supply, marching towards victory.
Yeah, he's going right for it there. Tech at the front is destroyed. No more Roaches for you. No more Infestors for you, says Violet. I want to take this to game 3. I want to take this title, and I'm going to fight to make that happen. Leenock at 83 supply has no real option here other than to throw out the last group of Infested Terrans to try and make this happen. A great fungal on the right flank there as well. Is that going to be enough? No, it isn't.
GG. Going to the last game. Violet has come from behind twice now to go to the last game of the important set. The difference between prize money now, I know they won't be thinking about it, but we can. One game, depending on the map we'll find out shortly, $40,000 first place, 20 seconds.
A lot of money for one map of Zerg versus Zerg here. Leenock is looking flustered now as a result of that. That was an excellently played defensive game there by Violet. It worked to perfection in almost every aspect. He was completely prepared for the aggression of Leenock. Leenock arguably getting a little bit impetuous, attacking that ramp over and over and over again into a perfect concave and great fungals, which is the biggest possible risk of getting aggressive against a player like Violet. And now, he's one map away. Can he make this happen?
Those series of attacks by Leenock were not good.
No.
Everyone can see it wasn't good. He lost so many units carelessly. He wanted to get in there to finish it there and then, but it was a mistake. The defender's advantage combined with Infestors is so strong, which is why we see a lot of passive games in Zerg vs. Zerg, not super aggressive ones, because